Welcome to the last round of the Blitz tournament. Now we are playing the owner of the club, the tournament director of this one. And he started with the first move e4, I went c5, he went knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. So this old Sicilian variation is nothing special, but you still have to know a bit of theory here to equalize. Knight f6, rook e1. And now here I can go with a6, but knight takes e4 is the best, and then d5. So at this point we sacrifice the piece, but on the other hand we are forking the middle. So now the only move is bishop takes d5, queen takes, knight c3, and queen f5. So white has to take the center, d4 takes, knight e4, knight takes, rook takes, and bishop e7 only move to stop checkmate. At this point here, bishop e3 is the best according to theory, according to practice. On that one, I was planning to go h5 because I want to safely later go queen g6 and do not allow rook g4. On the other side, the move such a knight b5, if they plan to go something like queen e2 and knight b5, I can just go a6. He went rook f4 directly, and this is peaceful offer of a draw because on queen e5 he can just repeat, and for him that's enough because he's fine with a second place on the tournament. Rook e4, queen f5, and if he repeats we can take a draw here, but I'm not happy with a draw. Like, I want to play this position, I want to see what he knows. Queen a5, keeping the tension on the board. Not a good square for the queen. I would like my queen to be on g6 because it's simply better square for the queen. On a5, it feels like it's a bit out of the game, but it's also possible square. Later, maybe we can go queen c7. He went queen g4. The move is pretty much logical. He want to threaten g7, and when I castle later on, some ideas of bishop h6 might appear. Now g6, for example, creates the weaknesses on the dark squares. The move such a bishop f6 simply falls because of rook takes, and after this there is queen g7, and rook f8 there is bishop h6, and white is just winning, so I can't commit to that one. I was about to make the queen move here and go something like queen to g5, but this is a bit risky because he can simply move the queen somewhere, and then later I'm gonna be on target of this bishop. But I figure out that I can just go castles here. I'm safe to do that. It even looks a bit ridiculous because you're castling on the side where he has his pieces, but that's the best move because he's still not threatening the move bishop h6. Now there is powerful move rook a4, and if I move my queen to go something like bishop h6, but on that one I have bishop f6, so he needs to keep the rook on the line if he want to commit later the move bishop h6. That's why he played rook f3, clever move. Now I have ideas such a e5 to open up the bishop, but better one is actually to go h5, and after queen g3 to go h4, and on queen g4 then to go something like e5, like to get some space on the other side. Instead I went for e5 directly, and on queen g3 e4 seems like a good move, but it's actually a very big mistake because of bishop h6. I simply forgot that he can play that move because he moved the rook, and I thought that he needs to deal with this. On the other side I don't have queen e1, checkmate. I play g6, I have to give the exchange. I decided to take with king. He takes back with a knight on e4. And here I can only rely on some tricks and my bishop here, if I can do something, but my king is too open. I played bishop e6 here, trying to do something, maybe later king g7, followed by rook d8 or rook c8, if I can get this, but it's kind of difficult. Now white has even the moves such a knight f6 here, provoking h7. Also he has ideas in the future, queen e5, if I move my queen to go on h8, rook d1 simply to get online. He started with h4, which is even the best, because now he want to go h5, then later to take here, open up everything there, create a weakness on g6, and now here at this position it's hard for black to came up with something, but it's still not over, of course. We can try something. I went for h5. That's apparently a big mistake because queen g6, I saw it immediately when I played. He missed that. He played knight g5, and thankfully I can cover that now with bishop f5. This tournament, I made a terrible performance, to be honest. On the end of the day, I didn't lose too much rating, but it's just terrible performance. Like, I blunder so much in this Bliss tournament, and I hope that's not gonna repeat next time. Bishop, rook to e3, putting the pressure on the e-line, trying to stack the rooks. It's hard for me to create any chance here because white is simply dominating despite me having the bishop here. I played queen c5, trying to support bishop d6 and maybe to do something on this diagonal. He played rook e1, I played bishop d6 directly. Now queen has to move somewhere. Queen f3, and now I just went king g7, trying to hide my king. He simply took the pawn on b7. I need to protect my f7 pawn now. Yeah, position is kind of collapsing for black, but still there could be some tricks if he leaves the king alone on the g1. He went rook e8. I can't take because of queen f7. Now last try is bishop g3. If he takes here, I have take, and after this it's checkmate on e1. He went queen f3 back. I now take. He takes back, and I still have some hope. I take on h4, and there is pressure here, and also knight is hanging. So just bringing the knight to e4, it's enough. And after queen takes e2, I made simplification. Queen c3, takes, and even after bishop f6, you know, if they don't have these two pawns, then it could be drawable, because on the other side I will not wonder anything. Knight e6 now. Bishop e5, but knight f7. Bishop d4. And now it's hopeless, of course. Here, and okay, yeah, he takes the bishop, and that's it. There's this passer, and this always gonna promote. I risked in the last round, and this cost me some good spot in the tournament. Maybe I should took a draw earlier with repetition, but okay. Sometimes we have to risk to see what are our weaknesses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tournament.